So just wait for a couple more minutes while everyone gets set up. So this is meetup number 6, and I've been doing this since the beginning of this year. And so number 6 meetup is really about underwriting strategies. How do you know this underwriting strategies and protecting your nest egg? So meetups is kind of like a different meeting strategies in terms of, like, we have been doing this live on Zoom call, and on meetups. So I have been doing this since the beginning of the year. So um, since since 2006, I've been investing in Canada, US, Hong Kong, and I've been hosting over 30 events this year, meeting of you guys online and offline. So I know it has been slowly opening up. So in terms of economy, but really one thing that's really important is, we are moving on this time that's really funny in terms of, the economy, in terms of how we have been seeing it. The people have been getting ready for, you can say, getting ready for the opening up. But one thing that's really changing is we're slowly moving on into different market, and that's really key. That's really important that we know how to learn and underwrite properly. And that's what I intend to share with you, the three strategies today, how we can actually make sure that we understand how to underwrite multifamilies. Hi, Mike. Um, so we have anyone that on Facebook. Thanks for watching. I look forward to see you guys on online, and feel free to say hi. Feel free to say where you're from. This is supposed to be so I have this meetup every month, and at the second Saturday, and I welcome all you guys watching on the Facebook. I try to usually make it online on both meetups. I mean, on Zoom call and on Facebook Live. So let me just get and meet a couple more guys on here. Meet all. Welcome all you guys on the Zoom side, and welcome everyone's on the Facebook side. And Scott, you're driving. Um, how are you? Um, it's really um, it's really I it's really important that we keep on knowing, understanding what is going on in the market. So Scott, safe driving. Don't respond if you are you on the road right now, Scott?
No, I'm just parked.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's much better. Um, um, Thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for joining us, Scott. And yeah, so we're gonna get started. And for all of you guys know me, I've been doing this for some times. So um, I was actually before this week, and I was so excited when they say that the library is open, but that's actually not open for actually meetings. At least the library that I usually have meetings host up is not open. So we're gonna keep having the Zoom call, but I hope that next month we'll be seeing all you guys on live. So a little bit of myself. For some of you guys probably don't know me, I've been sharing multifamily since 2007 and hosting meetings online, offline, and my niches are really all about cash flow. So when I talk about investing in multifamilies, I'm talking about buildings that number of units have cash flowed, and particularly my market is in US market. So and also the meetups setting is more I'm hoping to reach out to more of you guys, because it's something that I don't want necessary. If you guys comfortable, I want you guys to introduce yourself. Who you are, what attracts you to meetings like this. We are all in a really isolated times. So I'm gonna jump on. Without further ado, I'm gonna jump on to let you guys to introduce yourself. Like, we only have like 4, 5, 6 now in the meetup, in the groups here. Later on, they may come join us. Um, I see some new faces, Jared, Ash, and other guys. I think um, Michael. Just look at a few guys here. So I want you guys to introduce yourself to the rest of the group. Facebook guys, if you guys want to join in the market, you need to go into the Zoom call. But tell me a little bit about yourself. And this is education slash networking event. So I want you to tell us, why you're here, how you hear about us, and why multifamily is something that caught your eyes. And then before we're gonna before we're gonna talk about what we're gonna talk about, which are underwriting strategies. So I'm just gonna go um, from the top to the bottom. So Scott, you're the first one.
Okay, can you hear me? I just had
Oh
to
yeah.
switch inputs. Okay. Yeah, my name is Scott Parrell. I've been a real estate investor for quite a while. I did the condo thing. I now have a single family that I split to an up down. I'm running that and looking to scale to the next thing, which is obviously multifamily. It's not really doable in my market of Calgary, or I guess BC, where I am now. So the next obvious step is to listen to Howard and go to the US.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you for joining us the meeting while you are driving. It's very good that you are parking aside. So Scott,
I'm just at the lake this weekend, so I had to pull some strings and find some Wi-Fi.
that's what I call dedication, eh?
Yeah.
So what do you want to do like this year? Like if you said that you want to invest in multifamily, what exactly you want to do? Do you have some sort of plans? Probably putting
I,
yeah.
it changes so often. I'm kind of, I think the plan is just to keep the network going and keep all your contacts and make new contacts. And um it's really interesting to see where all this is going. I mean, in Canada, it's a little easier. Things are starting to kind of open up and become more normal. In the US, things are opening up, but it's not any more normal. Things are a bit crazy still. The numbers are pretty high. So, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting to just watch and see how the COVID-19 affects real estate in the US.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the answer to the question is just keep making contacts as much as you can, as hard as it is right now. Just say hi.
Thanks, God. And next one I think is Michael. Is it me, Michael? Hi, it can't hear you. You probably need to unmute yourself. Here, I don't know if I unmute you properly. Unmute audio.
Okay. You can hear me okay now?
Oh yeah. Hi, Michael.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And nice to see you face to face. My name is Michael Gale. I live in Hamilton, Ontario, and I've been investing for over 3.5 years now, trying to supplement my retirement income. I would probably put it bluntly like that, because I am retired just recently, and I'm trying to make the best of our situation here in Hamilton. I have converted a single home into a duplex. I have a new build in a small little town that is just starting to thrive. And that was just January of this year. And I have shares in a 22 unit apartment building, very minor shares. And then another one in a 14 unit apartment building. I think I found my calling. I got a group of investors that are different range of professions, from accountants to lawyers and nurses, and that's what I want to do. I want to eventually I don't want to be a landlord. I found that out. I didn't touch wood. I haven't had any real problems or complications, but just like they say, the phone calls at 2 o'clock in the morning, I just don't want them. So I'm trying to make more of a commitment to multi-unit buildings, anywhere say from 20 to 40 or 12 to 40, and keep investing that way. And that's my goal. When my mortgages on my other two properties mature, I'll probably list them. And some people said, oh, you're crazy, just pull out the equity and that. But I think I'll be able to get more doors with apartment buildings and have people run them and have a team. And I think that's my plan, and how I come about it was a long way around. I thought I was going to own duplexes and triplexes, maybe 3 or 4 of them, and be happy with that. But that's not the case for me.
Hey, Michael, you're not crazy. I think you are doing what most people should be doing. When but one thing is really funny is we all started out that way, don't we? We all started out single home. Well, in my case, condo, and then single home, and then duplex, and multiple duplex, and then well, I kind of skipped the the fourplex or eightplex, but and then multifamilies. But I don't think you're crazy. But of course, people are gonna think you're crazy because you what the fact is, I haven't do the math, but I figure that's probably 98 to 99% of the investors is always gonna keep doing single families, as you and I know. And but I think you're a lucky one. I think you're a lucky one because you figured out that's better way to do it.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing. Nice to see you on face to face.
Thank you very much. You too.
And thanks for sharing your story. And Kuda, you're next.
There we go. Hi, my name is Kuda. I'm a real estate
Kuda.
investor. I'm looking to invest in the States in multifamily because obviously I've come to realize that single families were not the most ideal for return wise. So currently I'm working in accounting as a job, but I'm looking to transfer fully to real estate investment. So in the meantime, I'm just building a network, building contacts, creating relationships with brokers in the States up to a point where I can get the most suitable deal and plunge into the market as soon as the economy opens.
That's very good. And Kuda is actually one of my mentee. So you've been basically come to the group and you've been really active. You're learning a lot, and you're actually doing a lot. So you're getting deal flow. So one thing you did mention is you have been looking at the U.S. market and building relationships with and building up your credibility. So that's something that is really important. Some of you guys did mention, you have to keep on building relationships, keep on talking about keep on not only keep on talking about learning about stuff, you have to take actions, right? You have to take actions. But yeah, no, it's can't agree more. Thank you, Kuda. And I think next one is I'm guessing is pet is it Petty? The lady that's just joined us, I think it's Patty. So we are doing this introductions. If you're comfortable, feel free to share about who you are and why you're in this meeting and what brings you here. I'm just gonna try and unmute you, see whether you can get you talk to the rest of the group. Unmute audio. Hi.
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 My name's Patty Cote, and
Hi.
I'm just trying to, I have a couple properties, but I'm just trying to learn a little bit more. some other strategies.
That's great. Yeah. No, welcome you. And I, to be honest, I do different kind of channels of marketing. Sometimes I think I see you guys on Facebook. Sometimes I see on different channels. Welcome you. And I think it's very good to, I want to make this as a bit of a networking event. I know we are slowly opening up, but to be honest, um, um, I find that even though we're on Zoom call and whatnot, I prefer that I'm not the only one who's speaking, especially on meetups. I want to introduce you guys to ask me questions. What's your experience on investing? Definitely not. I think in the real estate world is really is a team game, meaning that you may know something or you may know something on the real estate and whatnot, but you rely on a lot of other people expertise and whatnot, and that's what was beautiful about a multifamily, because you do need different people. You need brokers, you need investors, you need passive investor, you need managers, property managers, and real estate agents, and all this kind of people to do different kind of things. And I talk about it a lot and on my other meetups. But thank you for sharing your background, Patty. Um, Jared and Ash, I think you two are you guys able to hear me? I haven't seen, I can't see you on your face. I think you probably have um, your video turned off. Do you want to share about a little bit yourself, Jared?
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, how are you, Jared?
Not too bad. So I've been a real estate investor for probably about 5 or 6 years, mostly focused in Ontario, but I am based in Calgary. So like Scott said, it's difficult to get into the multifamily game in Calgary. I find the price per door and the metrics don't really make a lot of sense. So I'm here to just learn some more and hopefully find some good markets to invest in.
Yeah. Thanks, Jared. Jared, you have I seen you on my meetups before or no?
No, first time.
Okay. Well, welcome you, Jared. So we have this meetups every second Saturday, and I've been doing this for about 2-3 years now. When we will open, we hopefully see you in the library, Calgary Central Library.
Sounds great.
Welcome. I think our next one is Ash. Ash, do you want to introduce yourself to the rest of the group and see why you're here and what makes you to join this call, and just introduce yourself? Hi, Ash. Yeah, I think you unmute that, so you can speak if you want. Here, let's try it. Here. Hi. Okay. Okay. I don't think Ash can have the ability to speak on the phone or on the call. I think the last one is Michael Mana. If you want to introduce yourself to the rest of the group, it's totally up to you. If you're not comfortable, that's also fine as well. We can give you a chance to. Hi, Michael.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I can introduce myself. Hi, sorry I'm a bit late. I just saw the email.
Oh, that's okay.
But yeah, I like the title. I just went over the email, the topic. And my name is Michael. I'm a young looking aspiring entrepreneur. And so this, of course, this is knowledge and I'm looking forward to learn more. But I am if it's two times every Saturday, so I'm looking forward to be on time for the next meeting. But for now, yeah, hi, welcome. And nice to see you all.
Well, welcome you, Michael. Thanks for, so I think that's it. So we have everyone's here. So let's just start it. I know.
I have a question first.
Go ahead.
Can I ask a
Go ahead,
question?
Scott.
I'm just wondering where Patty and Michael are from. Like I know myself and Jared said we're in Calgary, and Michael, you said you were in Ontario.
No, I'm actually from Calgary as well.
You're from Calgary as well. Kuda, you're in Calgary. That's correct, right?
I'm sorry.
Kuda's in Calgary.
I'm in
And,
Calgary.
Howard's in Calgary, and Jared, where are you calling in from? If you don't mind me asking. You said
I'm
Calgary.
actually, I live in Calgary. With COVID, I've been actually working from my family's home in Ontario. So I'm in both places, kind of, but based in Calgary.
That's what I'm doing. That's why I'm in BC right now. Awesome.
So
And I'm from southwestern Ontario.
well, thank you, Patty, and thanks Scott
Hey,
for
everybody.
mentioning that. Actually, I wouldn't mind if you guys are comfortable anyway, because this is we're not talking about 100 people on the meetups or on the Zoom call. If you guys are comfortable, I encourage you guys to share your contact information if you're willing to, for the other rest of the people to contact you. If you want to be in touch with other people, I think that's what we do. Actually, that's what we do when we're in live meetups. People come to my meetup script, know that I always encourage you guys to introduce yourself. It's a little bit harder while we're on this Zoom call or meetup calls, but feel free to share that on the chat if you want other people to network. You're spending an hour here or whatever with other people. May as well make the best use of the time, get connected to other people. And I think it's really important when we are investing in real estate. It is definitely a team game. It is it's not in such that you want to know every single one on earth, but if you come up here already, I think you all have an interest on real estate. I already hear a few of you guys speak, and I think you all have a really good experience of investing in real estate. So I think it's wonderful to get to know each other. Personally speaking, that's how I know most people anyway. And so do that. And if you want to anyway, or if you not comfortable, you can send me a private text to me, and I will try to arrange, see the rest of the people who want to meet, and I can ask for the permissions on the privately. So it's totally up to you. So let's just get started. So I've been doing this for some time, and I'm on Zoom call, I'm on meetup calls, and to be honest, I'm trying to be personally, I'm trying to be active in time like this. In time, it's a really challenging time for all the business and all the people who are trying to work at home, in the office, and today is also affecting me because I was trying to go to the office, but I don't feel like go to the office today. So I have a little set at my home, and I figured all of you guys do it at home. I think once in a while I can do it at my home. So
Totally.
it's just a way that because you can't really sometimes you're pushing it, right? Sometimes you try to tell yourself that you put outside your comfort zone. I'm just like all of you guys, right? Sometimes you need to give yourself a little bit of break, and you have to do it not hating it, if you know what I'm talking about. You have to do it not hating it. And I'm like you guys, like when I host this meetup or Zoom call, I to be honest, a lot of things I don't know. I don't know how to host meetup. I don't know how to host Zoom call. You can learn it along the way. Just like many of you guys, it applies you to underwriting. It applies the same when you're investing in multifamilies. It applies to anything, by the way. Actually, it applies to anything. But the key thing is you really have to do the first steps. Whether you're doing market research, or whether you say that you're investing in Canada and you want to go now to go to US, and I find it, personal experience wise, you will never be figured out everything along the way. And sorry if you heard this the first time, you will fail, no matter how much you plan. And apply. I have failed many times in my personal investings. I wish I have a lot of properties I haven't bought, but I have bought. But have I learned a lot? Oh yeah. Have I, when I go to the US, investing in US, even though I have I have people that I can rely on. I have team I can rely on. I have mentors I can rely on. I'm still learning a lot because that's the thing. So you can learn everything. You can learn. You can only probably learn 10 to 20% based on books. Based on if you're a mentor, you may be able to learn maybe 10 to another 20, 30% more. That's from my experience. The rest you have to, you have to build for yourself. You have to find your investor yourself. You have to find the deal yourself. You have to go to the market yourself, and and all those things I have I've done it also in with other people, with other investors, with in the U.S. market. um I wish I can share more, and that's one of the reason I host all these meetups and all these boot camps, and to share with all you guys. So feel free to ask me more. So today, so people know me that are trying to have one topic every time that I have a call. So today's topic is about underwriting strategies, and for you guys, for some of you guys may be newer. I think many of you guys has been around many times. I mean, a lot. It's been around investing real estate for a long time. Ask me, just jump in. Like, what is underwriting? If you don't know what I'm talking about, just ask me. Okay. Otherwise, I just assume that you guys know what I'm talking about when I talk about underwriting. And so in and today I want to share about um, three underwriting strategies, and I find it you can so call it as different, and I find it certainly different because um, it is different in the sense that you know I started investing in U.S. since 2012, and I started investing in multifamily as a managing partner myself 2005, 2015, 2016, and eventually got my own multifamily properties. And I learned it, from the books and by doing it, asking people. But one thing, and I spelled out for you guys four things that I think that's really important when I say underwriting strategies is especially at time like this, don't afraid to offer low. Um, and 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I have offered 60 cents on the dollar on a 3.9 million properties. And so I didn't get that, but it got the seller thinking. My experience is the market has changed in the U.S. and it is continues to change, and I think it's no doubt right now we enter into a buyer's market, um, and from all the information I've seen, and of course, um, you will depending on what you believe, depending on who you talk to, and you're gonna get the informations. Um, Personally, right now, I think is a very very interesting time to go in investing because you have all the time to raise capital. You have all the time to wait and see where how low the market can go down to. You have all the time to get the deal flow coming with your brokers because now they have all the time for you. And not, it's not like a few years back then. They're all really the market is like bidding like it's so crazy. So yeah, no. Number one is things don't afraid to offer low, and second of all is I've shared with the mentees like I have had a COVID-19 cost on all my offers. Again, ask me if you don't know what I'm talking about when I talk about offers here. Or LOI the offers. So I have added COVID-19 cost, basically saying that I can extend because of the situations. You can get people to do the due diligence, right? Physically, inspectors, and you can go to the units and you have to arrange that, and the border closing, right? So another thing that I did put when I put in my offers is I did put a COVID-19 cost, and it's not a question. So it's time that you have to put those things to protect yourself. And number three is really simple. It's like don't assume the market will be what it was last year, and the seller is still expecting that to be business as usual. But it won't be business as usual. It's already affecting so many different market. so many different segments, so many different type of assets. I do think we are going to be the gold mine going right now here. Whether you believe it or not, I do believe that from my last time experience in 2018, I mean 2008, and I didn't know what I know now. I think right now, between the now next 12 months to 24 months is the time that you're gonna if you go in if you know what to do. I think it's gonna make a lot of I think it's gonna make a lot of people to be happy investing in real estate in the next 5 years. And last thing is I did add it at the end. It's like, know what is the mortgage brokers like, underwriting parameters. Of course, when you talk about underwriting, on a really high level, you get a deal from the broker and your underwriting and things like that. One really, really important thing is, you look at the T12, you look at the P&L, and you kind of put it all the numbers together with your underwriting. And one thing you have to also put in is like, you used to be able to borrow 75%, 80% from from the agency loan or from the bank loan. So now what is those parameters? What is the interest rate? Is this lower? I actually just locked on my refinance on my properties yesterday, so it's lower. I know that. And how about, there's so many different things. Are they tying? Are they getting more tight into a credit market and whatnot? And all those information is about leveraging your team, right? And I don't think we have any. From what I hear, I don't think we have any mortgage broker here. And by the way, the reason why I know the mortgage credit market has changed is because I have paid attention and I have a team in the U.S. and help me to navigate the loan or the mortgage market, because it's very challenging right now, right? It's really challenging to get a loan. It's really challenging to in terms of the credit market. CMBS loan has been frozen for the last 2-3 months, and now for the last 3 weeks, I think, well, dying back. So the only one who was only giving loan, as I know before, is only agency loan, and also the bank. Now some of the insurance company has come back online and whatnot, but it's going to be continuously interesting as we keep moving into the market, because there's so much um, uncertainty going on right now in the market. You really don't know uh, um, where does the unemployment rate will be settled, right? The employment data is not is it absolutely not to the bottom for sure, and real estate market is absolutely not to the bottom, and so many business is still going through the restructuring and whatnot. So, and then when they go through the restructuring, of course it's going to affect unemployment, and it's going to affect state by state, and it's going to affect it city by city, market by market. So it's really important to coming back, to know. And even I would argue, when you do your market research on your market, this is totally different now. We say, like, you did your market research 3 months from now, COVID basically make entirely different from, you used to be a good market, but now you have to looking at, is this still good market anymore? Like, is it still good market anymore? And you have to looking at, is it pandemic proof? Is it going to be, how many job has been lost in that state, and how resilient, like, is it high tech and focus and whatnot. So you have to pay a lot more attentions now, and many of those you can research online and learn about it. But I also find that, personally speaking, there's no better way to have your team locally. If you say invest in Oklahoma, like, the only best way I find that is, like, doesn't matter where you're investing, is to creating a team, meaning that you have to have your local brokers, local mortgage broker, maybe not local, but you bet it's better to be local because they know the market locally, and your property managers and the whole team. The reason is they're going to be help you to give you the informations that you can find out online, and online information is really one-sided, or is really biased, I would say. Many times you wouldn't be able to find the real informations on the market level. One day you may see a news on Bloomberg talking about Detroit especially, but what it doesn't tell you, fail to tell you is, Detroit is a 5 million population cities, and there's different pockets and different satellite city around Detroit. And I'm picking Detroit because I do know that market is huge, and it applies to all different kind of market, by the way. So you really have to create your team, and that's why I always say that on my meetups and on my Zoom calls, like you need to create your team, local team. And one thing that I want to touch on is a couple of you guys mentioned that you cannot make the numbers worth, right? I mean, make the number work in Canada, in Calgary. I cannot agree with you more. In fact, that is one of the reasons why myself I have been a Calgary guy, and I'm based in Calgary still. I'm living in Calgary, but I cannot find the number works. And you guys has been looking at the multifamily for some time. You know what I'm talking about, right? You can't really make the cash flow work when you're buying a unit price at 150,000 per door and 150K per doors, and only getting $800 or $900 per room. I mean per unit. And that numbers in US is easily go down to 30K per door and maybe $500 per unit. And that's why people like me, and I started encouraging people like Cooter and Scott, like other people, like you guys have to look at the US. And it's a learning curve. Of course, you have to build a team, you have to learn how to do it in US. And I like to offer you my experience, how I did that. It's definitely doable because many people have done it. You just have to learn, you just have to talk to the right people and give you helping hand. So know the market is going, and I think I repeat a little bit on myself, but basically the market is going down. I think that's no doubt about it. And know how the cash flow will be affected when the collection is going to changing as well. Collection has been trending down slowly. Um, you know, when the pandemic happens in March, um, everyone's were looking at April 1st, and then it went okay because it is just the beginning of that, and then May 1st, and then June 1st. I think we're still at high 80s collections average wise, and it's how we're understanding the apartments market is the collections, and how much you're collecting from the rents you're supposed to be getting. So it's about 80 to 90s, or high 80s, no 90s, depending on the market you're at in US. But everyone's is paying very high attentions on, one thing is coming for sure is um, um, the government is not going to keep on giving money, in Canada and the US. And we're not talking about Canada investment, we're not talking about Canadian investment here, but it happens all the government. It's forbearance. So forbearance is actually the term that the industry use when the bank will foreclose a property when the borrower does not pay because a lender doesn't pay. So forbearance is the prohibited, like is a prohibitions of, like, basically the bank is not allowed to foreclose. So the first is going to happen, it's going to be July and August, meaning that the government, I'm talking about US here, will not. So basically, when all this happened, the government said to come out, you guys cannot foreclose the properties. But I think everyone's paying very high attentions to July and August, because slowly, different state and it's going to allow evictions, and also allowing is also wavering the forbearance happening. Basically, the properties is going to be slowly coming up in terms of foreclose, or like they're going to be have problems paying the mortgages. So one of my number 2 point is here talk about is cash flow is going to be affecting. It is going to be affecting because tenants slowly not going to pay, and it's going to affecting collections numbers for property owners like us. And then number 3 is really simple.
Hey, Howard, are you able to mute Patty there? There's a lot of noise coming from her.
No worries. Here. Sorry, actually, let me just go through all you guys.
It's all good. I think everybody else is muted.
Okay. Sorry, guys. So number 3 is really just come down to where the credit market is going. I don't know where the credit market is going. I do know I have shared a couple of slides here down the road, some of my observations, right? And I, in fact, so the credit market is this, it's basically what I'm talking about is how the lenders is the willingness of the credit of the lenders is lending money on buying properties, and everyone's know, most of you guys know that it's super important because we're trying to get 60 to 80% of the money for each properties we buy, and to buy property. So if you have tight, or even the terms is hard to get credit or get loans, it's going to affect how the market is going, because the interest rate will affect it, and there's a couple other things that are also shared in terms of like escrow, in terms of net worth, in terms of liquidity. That's usually what really happens when we buying multifamily, is they looking at how much net worth you have. They right now they increase the net worth requirement, and they're looking at increasing it, and they basically double the net worth requirement that you need, at least on the agency loan. And then they also increase the liquidity requirement, and also they're looking at escrow, and basically they need you to put down when you close, and put down 12 months of P&I when you close. So of course it's going to affect everything, right? And based on where I've been educating myself with mortgage brokers, and in knowing the credit industry, basically this is basically changing by the days. It's not even exaggeration, but the days are changing by the weeks. It's really volatile in terms of where this could go change. I think for the last couple of days I see that easing a little bit, but it could change day by day. It can change day by day. So, but
Howard, quick question. What do you mean by, can you clarify what you mean by 12 months of P&I, like P&I?
So yeah, so thanks, Scooter. So I said you need escrow. So escrow means, first term is basically when we close in US, as escrow account, you put in the money in the escrow account. So typically they don't answer you additional money for your payment before March. So right now, the new thing is a new thing. So basically, let's say you're buying this property, 100 units, and you get a bank loan, and let's just say they get a bank loan for 2 million, and your monthly payment is, let's say, 20K per month. That's P&I, right? That's principal and interest. So when I say P&I, it's principal and interest. And so right before all this, you don't need to foot money. You basically at the closing, you don't need to have additional money for this P&I to close this property of when you say that you bought the 2 million properties, 2 million loan. So now is 12 months escrow. So 12 months escrow, thanks for asking me about that. So 12 months escrow is basically means that the bank needs you to bring in 12 months of $20,000 per month to be at the closing. So you need to make sure you bring in 240,000, so called a million, when you're getting this loan. And now they're requiring that at the close, meaning that you need to raise additional cash, right? Or you need to bring in the money, basically put in there at the bank, and they're going to be deducting it at the first year. So does it make sense, Kuda? Perfect. Yeah. So and why did the answer do that, right? Of course, the bank is scared, right? The bank is scared that when all the situation is happening, the collections is affecting the cash flow that you're getting from your properties, and it's because the government is stopping you as a landlord to evicting the tenants, and basically you are having this free apartments for the tenants. It's not getting cash flow, and if you don't have the cash flow and or like you affect the cash flow, the collections. Well, by the way, your vacancy has not go up. I mean, your occupancy has not go down. You still have people in your property, except that you just have people who's not paying. So that's basically the difference between collections and the occupancy, right? But we still have tenants still there. They're not paying, but your collection is going lower. So that's the number 2 point here I'm talking about. It's trending low and has been trending low since April. It's not a lot, but we also have but it's not trending low a lot because so you have you when you pay attention to the US market, is actually they're about getting $600 per person in for people who are affected in COVID right now in the US, $600 US. And if you're in $600 per week. So if you're a family of 2, you can get to 2 persons, and then you can get 24, right? 24,000 per month. It doesn't sound like a lot, but depending on where you're investing. By the way, this $600 is like all over the US. So and it doesn't matter where you're California. Of course, the living standard is way higher comparing to someone in Tennessee, right? And if you're in Tennessee and or like if you're some place in the Midwest, $600 a week is a lot of money. So that is because when we're not seeing the collection is trending is affecting a lot since the beginning to now, and the reason is the government is still giving out money, and the thing is, you and I know the government will not give out money forever, and a lot of and that is what you have to pay attention when we talk about collections and the credit markets is going, because the bank is not confident that at least all the apartments, all the multifamily, all the student housing is affected big time, and it's going to be able to pay the mortgage, and that's why the credit market is getting tight. So that's what I mean. Do you know where the credit market is going? I don't know. My observation is I don't think it will magically. I don't know it will stay at the same, but I also don't believe that it will suddenly be better. Go back to 2016, 2017. I don't believe in that. If there's no condition to be better in terms of the job market, in terms of the credit market. So and I also want to touch base a little bit of, what is the basic underwriting. When we talk about underwriting, a couple of things is we are looking at this DCR and the cash on cash, and so this DCR means basically that's coverage ratio, and this basically is how much money that let's say you collect for property for $1 a month. I'm just going down to the unit so that we all understand really simple concept here. You collect the $1 for a month for this property, and let's say you have 50 cents for expense. So now you're netted with 50 cents, right? So you collect the $1, you have 50 cents for expense, and now you have 50 cents. So now basically that coverage ratio is the formula of, now you have that NOI. Basically, that 50 cents net is the NOI. And if we go back to the example of like you have to service a loan. So now you have 50 cents for NOI. So to pay, assuming that out of the 50 cents, you have to pay 40 cents for the loan. So now the debt cover ratio is simply 50 cents divided by 40 cents, which is what, 1.25. So am I right? So if you have 1.25, so you're basically good before all of this happening, right? Before all this pandemic, before all these things is okay. We typically have 1.2 when everything is good. So because why you want to have, so first of all, you have to have the debt cover ratio over 1. Otherwise, you're not having enough money to pay expense and also bank money, right? So it's really simple. But at times right now, you probably want to have that cover ratio higher going in. And the reason is the rent income is going to come down, right? And because it's, what right now, like a lot of people is going to losing jobs, already lose job, so they have difficulty paying rents. So your rental income is going to come down. So you used to be able to get $1 a month, let's just say a month. Now you probably get 95 cents, 90 cents. Now you're used to be 1.25. That cover ratio is suddenly decreasing to, so let's say you have 60 cents, right? 60 cents, or 40 cents, 40 cents to 40 cents that. So the 10% decrease of rent have basically bring down that cover ratio from 1.25 to 1. So now you have no cash left for anything, including paying your investors, and you have to basically get 40 cents and pay off your 40 cents for mortgages. So that's why you have to understand your debt cover ratio, and the bank will tell you, right? The bank will tell you, it's really too tight. So how do you do that, and how do you make sure that you're covered at the time like this? And that's what we're going to talk about today, right? How do you make sure your debt is not over servicing the debt, right? It's basically come down to price, but we can talk about that. So a couple of things, I also put in a note here, you have to be really careful on your value add, right? And used to be in apartment guys like us, the value add is so important. You basically, that's what you live for. That's what the dream is. Every broker is telling you, can go in and increase the rent a couple $100 after you do all the work and things like that. I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm saying that now, if everyone is downsizing, if everyone's getting tighter on the income, there's always going to be clientele to be able to pay more rents if you are renovating your apartments up to the market level. But the market level has been also changing as well, will be changing right now. So you have to be very careful on your value add. In fact, a lot of apartment guys is actually already say don't consider any value add at this moment. I don't know about that. It's really preference things, I would say. I mean, if you look at our apartments, then the market is $800, right? Let's just say the market $800 per month per unit. And if you find apartments that right now is charging $400, and I think there's a really high chance that you can increase your rent somewhere from, I'm just giving you an example, somewhere between $500 to $700 if you do the work. Would you be able to go to the $800? Who knows? Maybe the market changes at that time when you've done all your renovations, maybe already come down $750 or $700s. But basically come down to knowing underwriting conservatively. When you see a deal, let's say is per room is $600, and you are trying to increase to market $650, I would say really be careful. And because the $50, maybe when you're done the work, maybe it's not going to happening, right? Coming down to knowing the deal, how much value add, you have to basically add more buffer to your value add scenario, right? And cash on cash need to be higher as well. If you were able to find a deal, 8 to 12%, maybe need to be higher, maybe need to be 15, 20%. And the way to do it is so many ways. First of all, maybe you have to make sure the price is right, right? A lot of sellers not actually paying attention right now. They are not paying attention. They are, of the brokers, all the real estate brokers that I talk to, almost all of them tell me, and this is really crazy, and almost all of them tell me, the market hasn't changed. The market hasn't changed, and the market is still good. But I of course I don't argue with them because they are the one who's giving me deals, right? I don't argue with them. But the fact is, they are surfacing. You're getting deals when you're a real estate investor like me. You're getting deals from brokers, so your job is not to argue with them that the market has changed and things like that. The fact is you just have to be offers and be polite about that, because they as a mortgage, as a real estate brokers, they are at the service of the seller, so they have to service the seller 100%. That's how the fiduciary responsibility on the contract spelled out, whether you're residential or commercial is the same. So they have the job is to make sure the seller get the highest possible price. But so it comes down to knowing and talk to different people on your market. So if you talk to your property managers and the mortgage broker and talk to multiple property managers. In fact, I find that property managers is really they will be more honest to you. And the reason is because when you buy properties and you flip it over, I know Michael is talking about, you don't want to manage your property anymore. No, Scott, you don't want to, and I'm the third person who will say that. Is yes, because they are the one who will be the guy who is screening a tenant. And when you say that, I have these properties, I can increase rent, and can you increase that? They're the first one to be liable. If you say that I can increase $200 and they tell you and coming back, no, the market is not going to support that. So they're the first, they're your resources to tell you how accurate, how truthful, how the actual market is actually showing right now. Can you actually increase that $200? It's really important. And you guys already know that $200 means $1 million. Many times $200 means $1 million. You times it by 100 times 12 divided by cap is easily means over $1 million or two. So be careful on those cash on cash numbers, on those value add numbers, on those on those increased rental income. So and then and this is the last thing that I actually see is like, on the news is basically you have to pay attention on different class of properties, right? Before all this coming in, by the way, class C and class B. So because we talk about value add, so I don't talk about A a lot. So but basically ABC is basically the different type of A is very new, B is like 10 years, B is like 10 years older than A, and C is like plus another 10 years after the B. So before going in this market, so B and C, the cap, okay, the cap is really close, meaning that if the return, let's just say the return on investing in class B and class C, I'm talking about return in terms of percentage here, is very close. They always talk about the spread between, because class B usually is at a lower cap than the class C, and class A is even lower. Class A is even lower in terms of cap. So they talk about the compression of the class B and C. So we know that that's why a lot of people, when they're investing in class C, B, C to improve the value, a lot of people go to class B properties because it's not much to invest in a little bit more pricier properties but get similar type of return and with much less headaches. I'm a class C guys, by the way, if you haven't known yet, or like you just know me. So I do know from all the sources that I've been hearing, and I'll be paying much more attention when I'm actually offering, is how much the C property is being affected, because affected by this pandemic, by the situations, unemployment, things like that, because we have been known and being told that a lot of hourly wages employee is affected with this situation, meaning that sales, meaning that fast food workers and servers, hourly wages, and they're really vulnerable. And usually they're in the work class housing, class C housing, so as compared to class B and class A. So you have also pay attention when you looking at the collections on when you say that this class C, how much has affected. So pay attention, answer those questions. That's what I want to let you know. Answer those questions. How is this property being affected for the last 40 days, 60 days? And the sellers will be really embarrassed to share with you that, and use it as your advantage when you negotiate, because it's going to be changing. I would say, personally speaking, I would say that the greatest opportunity hasn't shown up yet, because we hasn't settled down yet in terms of the unemployment, because of forbearance and for culture, and all those things hasn't really settled down. So you have to know all those, right? And when you're underwriting properties, and I talk about a little bit here, is the 3 months income is trending down. Has it been trending down, right? And depending on the area, depending on the properties, and some of it is affected more than the others, and you have to answer those questions. I actually see a property that seller doesn't want to share with me the income of, I think it was April. It was a couple months ago, and the sellers, I know they are offering any tenants to pay on the first of the month 20% off. So what it means is basically it doesn't affect the collection, but it affect the rental income in that case, just basically outright 20% lower, simply, right? And it's huge, right? And it's huge. And we talk about debt coverage ratio. I mentioned his debt coverage ratio, and used to be 1.2 is okay, and in fact it need to be higher. And the how high, and I think you need to talk to your mortgage broker, right? And what would that be? And my gut feel is at least need to be 1.6 and higher. And it's going to be a lot of properties that's going to be it is still as unrealistic, I would say, in this time. And the fact is, I see a lot of properties already. So basically, they were on market in March, April, and they probably couldn't sell. The seller doesn't want to go down and decrease the price, and they pull off the market. And I see like one of the properties I offer is like that. So knowing that is happening, and knowing that what is the right price it offers, and I think now is the best time to learn. And I say that to many of you guys. We talked about the Cooter, I talked to Scott, and a couple other guys, and you really have to do it now, because the market is adjusting, and this is the best time to learn, to know when the market is going down. And because let's say if you need to go in the market 12 months from today, and if you haven't started on today, you wouldn't have a trend, you don't have experience of a snapshot, or basically you wouldn't know what happened from the last 6 months or 12 months, and you wouldn't know when is the best opportunity to go in the market. So that's why I keep saying to people, you have to look at now, because it is the best time. Just like, it is, I know a lot of people will be, we're scared. And in fact, I don't think this is the best time to scare, especially if you're not owning anything. This is the best time to go in, not now, okay? And talk about this downturn. Yeah, so that's that cover ratios, and you will be having the conversation with your mortgage broker, how you should be going in for that properties if you're looking at properties. And so, as I say, need to be 1.6 and higher. And the fact is, like, the higher, the only reason you can make it higher is because you either have better term, right, or you're going to be lower the price, right? Or you're going to have less leverage, right? Lower LTV, basically what it means here. But again, when you have LTV and Dutch coverage ratio is is and the cash on cash affect one another's, right? You can typically you can go you can if you have LTV of 25%, let's say if you go down to 50%, now the only way that you can do that is going to raise more capital. But when you raise more capital, being the real estate guys, you know that is going to affect your return to the investor, meaning cash on cash. And that's not many investors be able to tell you that, 2 years ago I'm good with 12%, now you can give me 5%. It's not doesn't work like that. So many times it's really come down to the price. And if the seller is not really accommodating, to be honest, it's just time to move on. It's the time to move on. In fact, I've offered properties like that, and it's time to move on. The brokers tell me that, and the brokers, he's not saying that you're unrealistic. He's saying that the seller is not keeping up with the market, or they haven't adjusted to, because it's only 8 weeks ago that we were all okay, or 3 months ago we were all okay. So the market hasn't totally adjusted to buyer's market yet, at least from the seller's perspective. So, but why you have to still offer? Because you know what? Some of the property may come back in 3 months, 6 months, come back. In fact, when I offer 60 cents on the dollars, such a chance a few months later they come back, because I have offer. And now is the time to understand the market, understand how the cash on cash and the collection has been affected. And that's where you have better understanding when you are going in, maybe, I don't know, maybe a year from now, maybe 6 months from now. So that's why I'm encouraging all you guys to learn the market, learn the US market. And especially for you guys, some of you guys is in the Canadian market. And, every time you're going to understand the external market, you have to spend the time. And I think that is now you have the time to understand the US market, understand how much you can correct it. And I'm going to have this blanket statement too. And I don't think, I know the Canadian market is adjusting, but personally speaking, I don't think the Canadian market will be adjusting to the point that it'll be matching in terms of the return that we can get in the US. There's no way. There's no ways that in the Canada market will be adjusting. You talk about 50% to 60% discount on the Canadian market before it can even compare to the US market. I personally don't think that it will be that way. And I hope not. Otherwise, I think it would be totally disastrous in the Canadian market. But that's only on the return side, on the cash on cash side on the US versus Canadian market. And how about another thing, the biggest difference between Canada and the US is the availability on the properties. And US market has easily 10 times the market size of Canada, and easily 10 times more renters, and easily 10 times more investment apartments, buildings, and easily it's 10 to 20 times more markets. And talk about specific market, Canada arguably have 8 to 10 different markets, and we're talking about able to invest probably less than 5 in terms of able to generate the cash flow that you can sustain the mortgages. Not even talk about cash flow. But in US, you have many markets. But you have to learn. You have to learn to be comfortable in going in the US. That's the big thing. And you have to be able to comfortable and creating a team in local US market. But many people have done it as well, including me and other people. So that's definitely, this is not rocket science. And I flow in this slides, talk about cap rate. Of course, it will be trending up the cap rate. But how much? I guess no one knows. I've been seeing going to Zoom call webinars. Many guys talk about at least a cap. This is based on history, right? A cap to I think I write here. A cap to a cap and a half. So higher in about a year, in about 24 months. So a little bit back up, cap is basically is the NOI divided by the price, right? So when the price decrease, and that's when the cap will increase, right? So again, the cap rate formula is very simply the NOI, which is your net income divided by the price. So price will be coming down, adjusting it. So the cap will go up. So obviously what that means is if you're buying right now, if a building is 2 million, it can easily be go down like not 50%, maybe 30%, 20% in 24 months. So that's two options here, or three options. You either get buying as in the seller price right now, which is pretty silly. Or second option is offering 30% discount from current prices right now. We're in this free falling stage, which we know in the apartment industry or real estate industry, we call it price discovery stage, meaning that there's not enough transactions going on right now defining where the equilibrium of the prices is, supply and demand I'm talking about. So we're in this price discovery stages because not enough deals going on. Is like we don't know where is the price of the market price is always the agreeable price of the seller and the buyers, right? So right now they are not meeting. So the seller is here and the buyers is here. So eventually they have to meet. They either is most likely is going to be the seller adjusting it closer to the buyer. Eventually then they meet. And of course we don't know. Like it is a $1 million question. We don't know how much it's going to be. But a lot of people, as I said, that is like, they're underwriting it as a cap higher and like 1 to 1.5% higher on a cap on 24 months going exit cap. And of course, that if you're apartment guys, that we used to be really when the market is going up, then we will actually some of the guys will actually underwriting as the cap is going to be lower in the future, which meaning that price appreciate. Now we're just the opposite of that. So the second option I said that you can offer as a discount already, which is a lot of buyers going in, and I think that's the only way to do it. And because if you don't get it, you just don't get it. Like what's wrong with that? The market is going down. Either the seller is going to be accepting your price and take the hit right now, or just wait, right? You don't have to go in right now. That's the thing. Or the option number 3, right, is to wait and buy it when the market settle, and you don't know when is that. So I personally like that, keep offering and offer aggressively. And if the sellers do a common agreement that they have to sell at 30% or 20% lower than the price right now, or 3 months right now, then you may get a deal, right? How are we doing? You guys are really quiet. How are we doing? And you guys good? Okay, good, perfect.
Doing good.
So, thank you. So and then following the slides of lending requirements is affecting underwriting. So I talked about already. Number 1 point is the P&I as goal is 12 months. That's what I'm seeing. By the way, when I say P&I escrow 12 months, you have to be so it's really complex in the mortgage industry. I'm talking about in general terms here. So I'm talking about because in the credit industry or in the mortgage industry, they will lend you the money depending on the market you're in. If it's a really big market, they lend you more LTV, right? If it's a smaller market, and they have all different terms. I'm not trying not to go into all this lingo here, but if it's a smaller market, then the lender will not lend you as high LTV. But in the general term, the lenders is looking for more escrow. Let's just say more escrow. I see that escrow coming down to 6 months for some of the properties, but still, like you never need to have any P&I before. That because that totally affect the cash on cash. So that because you have to bring in more cash. 12 months of P&I, that's a lot, by the way, guys. It will affect. And maybe you'll be able to come into conclusion with your investors. I don't know, but you have to pay attention. You have to have the conversation. That's what I'm saying with your mortgage broker. Net worth, I see that used to be 1 times net worth for the loan that you're gonna get. Now they're saying that 2 times. Same as liquidity. and experience is more stringent. I experienced that, I got turned down for the loan saying that I don't have enough experience, and they really stringent that um, um, th- they are looking at um, any other way to protect themselves, because of course they're the lender is really um, conservative. And conservative, I say that LTV is more conservative, meaning that they used to be lend all the way to 85, now maybe they may go to 65 or 75. And how all this will affect on the rating, of course, go cash on cash will be lower because of high escrow, because on high or because on low LTVs. So it'll affect everything. So that you need to pay attention on those when you're doing your underwriting. What can you do, right? I talk about a lot of problems. I think you know this, as crazy as it is, I think there's a really good opportunity coming into the next 12 months, 6 months, 2 years. I don't know when it's at, but I personally have, I've been doing some of this. I've been, and that's why I put it here, because you basically need to figure out a way to go in this market right now, because when the dust settle down, the market is going to go back up again. We all know that, but you have to find a way to get in the market, right? So a few things that I've been doing is like, or to say what you think you should be start thinking about it is, I don't think we have many US guys here. You should start thinking about, if you invest, simply put it, if you want to invest in US, you have to expand your reach to US market. You need to start knowing and start networking in the US field, and which is what I've been doing. I and I think the serious investors should do it as well. Partner with sponsors, and find groups to join in US, and partner with US citizens, right? I've been doing more as well, expanding my reach to my groups. I know, and I go network a lot in US, and I'm expanding that. I'm doing that, and partner with an investor who have more experience, because you're gonna need the experience when you qualify for the loan. Other things that I've been paying more attention is I've always answered all these questions when I'm doing underwriting, when I'm doing my business, is how do I keep investing engaged right now? You have to pay attention and educate investors. Not every investor is as engaged as you and I am, and you have to first of all educate yourself, right? And then you have to keep the investor engaged, because when you need to raise the capital, when you need to invest with other people, like I think some of you guys mentioned that you have group of investors, so you have to educate them right now, like otherwise it's maybe a problem when you need to go in 6 months, in 12 months. So I ask the question all the time: how do I engage my investors? Is it by communication, by marketing? Let them know that you're active, right? I think you should. And how do you keep offering right now? And I say that I still offer because how how bad can it be? How bad can it be if you make an offer and they just say no, right? But the fact is, the brokers would like you to make an offer. The reason is, the people who doesn't make offer, they don't know where you're coming in. Like they haven't seen your LOI, they haven't seen you whether you're real or not. So you either partner with someone who have done it, or you have to go in and do your LOI. Now is the best time to the best time to do your offering, because you get to learn. You're probably not going to get accepted, but when you not get accepted, you learn a lot of things, right? You learn a lot of the market, learn a lot of the process, and when you do one, you can ask me, like, is it right or not right? So I encourage you to do that. And but the last one is really the most important question: how do you make the underwriting real when the market is going down? And the only one way is to keep paying attentions, keep the team going. You have to rely on a lot of people to tell you what is the real bottom of the market. And if you don't have a team, it's just going to be really hard. It's going to be really hard. I mentioned that on the next slides. What do you use for your resources? You have to use your mortgage broker to tell you what is the credit conditions, meaning that the terms of the loan, how you can qualify, along with your team, and It's going to give you all information about LTV to put in your underwriting. What is interest rate, and not even, I haven't really mentioned a lot, even the closing costs. Closing cost is, and you're going to rely on so closing is totally different when you invest in single family and multifamily, by the way. It got me off guard when I started investing. It's like, oh my God, there's a lot of things that you have to budget for when you're closing on the multifamilies. And but you're going to be relying on your mortgage brokers as a resource to tell you all those things. Use your brokers. Your broker may not be telling you the truth on the rest of the market. Some of them will, but use brokers right now. If you keep on communication with your real estate brokers from now on till the end of the year, you already have that history with your brokers. When the deals come through, let's say December, or let's say February next year, and guess what? You already know the market that much from your real estate brokers for the whole time, and that's the best way to use them as your resources. And it's come down to building your team and use experienced investors. Find other people who have done, whether that is like passive investors, or find other people who have done it in the U.S. market. Use them as a resources, or find sponsors as your resources and partner with them. And use mentors. Some of you guys already do that, and because they have done it. And last thing is, property manager. Property manager is free, and it's like they are really usually very upfront, and this is your first guy, I would say, to go and talk to them and get you basically get free advice and free. I hate to use the term called free services, but in a way, until you actually close your first properties, they're your free guy for the free resources on your team, because they can walk your property, do FaceTime with you, and tell you whether all those number works or not works, all those kind of things. So, so I think that's all for today. I don't have a lot of slides. I think that's all. You guys have any questions for today's topic? No?
Nothing from me. That was pretty straightforward. I think that was great, Howard. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. So share your contact if you want to answer me about anything about US investing. So I'm here to help you guys and potentially partner with you guys. And now next meetup is on the July of 11, and hopefully I can see you guys online. I mean, see you guys in person, or some of you guys actually not in Calgary, but hopefully I can see you guys in face-to-face in libraries. But that's all, and I look forward to see you guys next time on the next meetups. And if you guys don't have any questions, and feel free to send if you guys want to share the contacts and network with other guys on the group, share that on the group, on the chat, if you're comfortable. But thank you very much. Thanks, guys. Nice to see you guys, and have a great weekend and enjoy the weather.
Thanks a lot, Howard.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this meetups on how to properly underwriting in time like this. And thanks for watching the whole times. And I wish it does a lot of values that go into you guys. But we have this meetup calls every second Saturday of the month, and we do this online, we do this offline. Hope to see you guys next time. Thanks very much for joining us. And so Wagon to answer questions. This is called. This is jacket. This is nice, right? And I got this from Sarah, and I think I got this from a few years back. It's really sharp, right? Go buy it. And thank you, Michael. I'll talk to you soon. I think you're still here.